Hello, and welcome to the We Are Power podcast. If this is your first time here, the We Are Power podcast is the podcast for you, your career, and your life. We release an episode every single Monday with listeners in over 60 countries worldwide, where you'll hear personal life stories, top-notch industry advice, and key leadership insight from amazing role models. As We Are Power is the umbrella brand to Northern PoWEr Awards, which celebrates hundreds of female role models and advocates every year. This is where you can hear stories from all of our awards alumni and stay up to date with everything NPW Awards and We Are Power. Well, hello, and welcome to the podcast. This week, I am honoured to be joined by Anne Stonehouse, the winner of the 2025 Empowerment Champion Award at the Northern PoWEr Awards. Welcome, Anne.
Thank you. Honoured.
Well, you know they say everything comes to she who waits, right? Because you were shortlisted in, was it 4 years in a row?
4 years in a row, yeah.
And do you know what? We always talk about the awards not being for one night. We always say, that is 1,600 nominations. But there's something around that, receiving that nomination, and I know you make nominations. What made you still want to be part of it? Because it's not just a case of being nominated. When you get nominated, right, you get an email that says, fill in these questions.
Yep. And
you've been nominated for different categories.
Yep.
What made you think, I'm going to keep going?
I feel I'm an expert now at filling these forms in, and even worse, doing them horrible videos. Doing them 3 minutes videos that I just can't get to 3 minutes because I've always got too much to say.
It's impossible, isn't it? It is impossible. But there's something that's endeared you, isn't it, into the NPW, Northern PoWEr community.
I think the honour is, and the recognition is when your peers are filling them forms in and putting you forward. And I think, obviously, winning is amazing. Shortlisted and being a finalist is amazing. But the recognition at the beginning starts with somebody actually doing that nomination for you.
And it's great that you get that, because that, in essence, is the sole reason why I created the awards. Well, coming up to 10 years now ago. We're going to the 10th anniversary next year. But it was done with the total intention of encouraging people to high-five their achievements. Yeah. And I remember, and I don't know I think we talk about it when we go through the nomination process, but I remember in that very first year, there was me on my own. I think we'd received 680 nominations or something like that in that year one from all over in and across the North. And you're reading about these spectacular humans like yourself. And I just thought, actually, it's really good if we could hear from the individual. Now, whilst I can't interview 580 or 680 people, I wonder what would happen if we asked them to fill in the questions. I didn't want to go to a voting or anything like that. I wanted to hear from that individual. Yeah. So this was as close as we could get. And then the follow-on video, the cringe video, which I know everyone hates, but people do it. Yeah. And for me, it's always been that opportunity to hear direct from the individual. Yeah.
But I think your system works as well. So we've actually adopted that a little bit in one of our Sisterwood nominations, because we plant trees. We plant one tree a year for one of our Tees Valley women. So we've adopted some of your streamline systems into ours because it makes sense. It's really I've done award nominations for women across the Tees Valley for years and years and years and years, and it's really time consuming. You don't have all the information. You don't know the tiny bits, the nuggets sometimes, or even miss an award that somebody's got. So I think your system just makes sense, because that just means that somebody can nominate quick. But then you actually, as you say, you get the key information and the nuggets from the individuals themselves. And I think as a nominator, you just can't share that information.
And it is great to hear. It's great because I think one of the reasons that I did it is ask for that sort of secondary information is because actually, like you say, you can't know everything. Yeah. And sometimes these awards were literally created, like I say, for people to encourage and high-five their own achievements. So the fact that it opens the door for you to go, oh, that's really lovely of somebody to write that about me. And it's that kind of, oh, my shoulders are back a little bit. That's really nice. Actually, there's only 3 questions. And And I get to be that we there's an amazing young woman called Advita Patel who's been part of our Future List for many years now, and we had her on the How to Waste nominations webinar last year, and she goes, you know what, let's stop humble bragging. Let's absolutely brag and go, you know what, because we are proud of what we've done and we should be celebrating that success. So I am glad you have stayed in for the ride and keep staying in.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep nominating, more to the point.
And that's it. There are no nominations, or there is no awards without nominators. And I always say, you know, it is those individuals who take the time to either make that audio nomination or to put their fingers to that keyboard to think about someone else. And Emma, as you know, it's great to have you in the office. Anne's just been into the office right now, met most of the team, which is brilliant. And our Emma, Queen of the Awards. And as you know, what I think sometimes people don't realise, Emma and I will chase people, you know, so even though it's complete by this deadline, we will keep going and we will hunt you down somehow. LinkedIn, I think I've had you on a few times. And I get everyone's busy and this is not a first priority, but our priority is to try and shine a spotlight. And I'm delighted that you're here joining us in the studio today. And there's so much that I want to talk to you about today. And I think one of the things I loved is I heard you on another podcast and talking about how and why you created the Assist Network, you know, because you've been part of like we all have over the years, been part of the different networks and clubs and gangs. And, you know, we all remember the days, and I still think it goes on now. Someone's trying to thrust a business card, aren't they, in your hand and almost looking around for the next person to speak to. And you wanted to create a different environment, didn't you? And a safer.
Well, I've been in business 25 years.
Surely not.
Yeah. So I would never leave the house unless I was in a suit. Because I'm an accountant, my day job's an accountant, so I was always walking into a professional space while I was networking. Sometimes even I would carry a briefcase, which sounds absolutely ludicrous now, but that's what we did. Like 25 years ago, that's what we did. And heels.
Well, and to be honest,
and heels.
10 minutes prior to this pod, we had a big debate, weren't we? Because we were like driven over from the Tees Valley, you know, with your son, lovely Alex, and it was like, shall I heels or no heels? And I'm like, you do you, whichever way. And I'm like, but these are not heels for walking in. I'm just telling you that right now. Carter bar.
Absolutely. So it was very much, as you say, you walked into a space and it was just a business card swap space. And it very quickly, if somebody knew that you weren't going to sell to them or there was no connection, very much people would just move on to the next person. And it just wasn't suited to women. It's just not. Women are about relationships. Women are about connections. We like to lay foundations. We like to build trust, don't we, and get to know each other and family and everybody else that comes with it. I started getting involved in Women into the Network, into their awards ceremony, and I was part of their team as it come out of Durham Business School, and we turned it into a limited by guarantee organisation. So I was part of that team that did that. And then around that time, I inherited Assist. It wasn't called Assist at the time. I answered an email to a couple of ladies that were running a really small network and just said, we're going to close it. Does anybody want to take it over? So I was one of 3 ladies that answered that email, didn't know the other ladies. We turned up a really short meeting. We were told, I think it was something like £125 was in the bank account. Get a name, we'll transfer this over. Off you go. So that's how we founded it. So we created a brand, got a constitution, and here we are now, 16 years on this month.
Wow! And what are you most proud of?
Too much. There's too much to say. I mean, obviously, the culture and the connections that are made at every event. It is really relaxed, comfortable. We're very much about being inclusive. We give focus to women who are neurodivergent. So we want the environment to be comfortable for all. So I suppose the network as a whole and the connection. But I was told about a month ago that we're classed as a brand archetype who are an activist.
Oh.
So we have projects which we're really deep into now. We're seated at the table. So we're trying to make impact on getting Tees Valley women into the boardroom, in corporate, charity, entrepreneurship, female founders, and into politics as well. So we're deep in that project. That's an 18-month project. We've got targets, and we really want to make a difference. And we're actively bringing male allies into the room because we know the door's not going to open easily or as quick as we want without male allies. So we've got all of our panels across this project, two males, two females. So at the end of the project, visually, it's equality. Yeah. That's the idea beyond that. Sisterwood is the most that I'm proud of. So we plant a tree each year for a woman that's nominated by the network. And Sharon Sinclair is our Goodwill Ambassador this year. Sharon is our 6th Goodwill Ambassador. So back in 2020, January 2020, myself and one of the committee knocked on our Middlesbrough Mayor's door and said, we're not going to get a statue of a woman in Middlesbrough, clearly. Can we plant a tree each year for one in particular that's nominated from the network? Loved the idea. Found the space. It's in one of our local parks. Originally, I had an idea that it would be an avenue of trees, but they've offered us a woodland. So one of the team then rightly named it the Sisterwood. So we were given 10 trees by Middlesbrough Council 2020, which arrived 2 days into COVID. So the park had rang and said, I've got trees in buckets, please plant them. We got 10 trees that the council paid for the following year. So we ended up with 20 trees and I only wanted 2.
Don't ask, don't get.
No. So we then got in touch with Teesside Archives, and now the extra trees that we got are representing women of history as well, hidden women of history that have made a difference to the Tees Valley area.
So you literally are storytelling your region, right? You're storytelling and you're amplifying. And I think for me, there could just never be enough of it.
Yeah.
You know, the more that we can tell those stories, the more that we can create seats on the couch, seats on the table, bring a beanbag. It doesn't matter, does it? Yeah. We've just got to be intentional about this. And I think that we're really, really keen that it's always around advocacy as well, because otherwise slows down the process. And it's also not our problem to solve.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the bigger vision is to bring primary school children to come to the Sisterwood so they can see role models doing it present day, and learn about the history as well of women that have done it before. It's
such an intentional way to do it, and it literally has life and growth in it, doesn't it? It's fantastic. Talk to me. One of the things I loved was about the walk and talk. So you created another club, because obviously you've got nothing else to do, Anne, really. But you created this because you were struggling to finish a book, right? So therefore, I'm going to hold myself to account. And I'm going to create this club, but it's got really good kind of intentions, hasn't it, as well? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was very aware, me and my family, since my kids were sort of about that high, I would get a little QB post-it note out for the 3 of us, and it was G1, G2, G3, and each of us wrote our goals for the year, and I've got them all in really rough handwriting from when they're much younger, and they still do it now. We still do it every January. We set our goals. So for about 3 years, my goal was to read I think I said 12 books the first year, and I thought, come on, let's be realistic. And each year it got less, and I just couldn't do it. I would read a book. This is before Audible, and I would fall asleep. So I just thought, right,
it's got
okay,
sleep pattern.
yeah. So it was a case of, right, okay, I'm gonna create a book club. And that means that I've got no choice because I've got to come back. I was realistic, so we do it quarterly, so we only read like one book every 3 months. But it meant that I had no choice but to get that book finished. And it won't be the first time when I'm still reading the book like
on the way.
2:00 the night before I can go to sleep. Or listen, to be honest, I'm very audible now. So,
I'm an audible girl.
So yeah, and we're actually really pleased to say we're relaunching that as well in July. So we sort of paused it because we put our attention elsewhere, but we're relaunching it with a Meet the Author in the very beginning of July. So that's exciting. So yeah, very, very much about accountability. Then I was very aware that I sit at a desk all day and I really needed, from a health angle, I needed to do some exercise. So I thought, come on, okay, how can I get walking? So we created a walk and talk. Yeah, so we do 5 walk and talks a year in hidden places right across the Tees Valley. And again, it just makes me get out, do the walks, but I also have to do the recce's as well, and we have to time it and things like that. So it definitely gets me out from my desk. So yeah.
And have you got a favourite book?
I've got Atomic Habits, probably. Visible Women. At the book club, we don't do fiction. It's all about it's all about self-development, storytelling, biographies, that sort of thing. And actually, during COVID, we had a podcast club as well for a short time because I found lots of us recommending different podcasts and that. So we would have during COVID, we would have an online book club, and then 2 weeks later, we would have an online podcast club as well. And it was a lifeline for so many during them pandemic days.
Wasn't it just, you know, and I've always wanted a book club, an NPWAwards PoWEr book club. And so I live vicariously through you now, you know, or I'll come over to the Sisterhood and we'll walk through. But there's something around, especially with a non-fiction and that self-developmental, there's something, not just only if you've had to be held to account, you personally, Anne, but you've got that motivation amongst the other members. But equally, it's how we read things, especially non-fiction, can you interpret in different ways. So you've got that knowledge exchange that goes as well. So you're growing as you go and walk and talk, aren't you? It's, well, talking about growing, one of the things that made me chuckle a little bit and also made me super proud was back, you were awarded the Lifetime Achievement Queen's Award for Enterprise and Promotion. Like, wow, right? But one of the things, you met the Queen. Like, amazing. His and hers, right? You met them both. But the Queen was taller than you. So what did you not do that day? You didn't put your high boots on, did you?
I did, Simone. I had high heels on.
Was it because of the crown?
Yeah, it was. It was the big hair. I was like stood there thinking, oh no, you are bigger than me. How could the Queen be bigger than me?
What did it mean? I mean, it must have been super, like, it's overwhelming, right?
Yeah, very much. Yeah. The whole, if I tell you the story when I got the email, I was out that evening. It was a Thursday evening. So this was 2014. So again, we're backtracking on tech and things like that. Phones, we didn't have emails on phones or anything like
Crazy,
that then. So I got in, I think it was about 11:30, 11:15, and I thought, just stupidly, I don't do this now, check my emails. So I went into my office, checked my emails, and then there was this email saying you've won a Queen's Award, and I thought somebody's winding me up here. But I couldn't do anything about it because it was like stupid o'clock at night. So done a little bit of reading. It's somebody's prank.
It's a fake. Somebody's fake news.
Pranking me without a doubt. But no. Next morning, I'd obviously picked it up, spoke to absolutely amazed. But I didn't know that my nominators had even done that. So
wow,
yeah,
how special!
Amazing.
And this is really interesting because you are, I always think, the unlikely seeker of visibility, right?
Yeah.
That's not you, isn't it? You want to connect other people. I want to be in the background. I want to push people forward. That's you. So it made me sort of smile somewhat to hear about your new project, which is called Project Visibility.
Project Visibility.
Which is literally, this is you constantly coming out your comfort zone.
Very
Not
much.
going to read a book, going to create a club, going to make myself read a book, you know? It's just like, now tell us about Project Visibility, because it's got some clear goals and tasks, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Nothing's missing easy with you, is it?
Yeah, no, not at all. And I will say, so as a finalist, obviously, we get offered a mentor.
Yeah.
So I am working with one of your wonderful mentors, Dawn, and she's been absolutely fabulous helping me figure this out. And again, from a humble angle. So speaking to Emma and filling the forms in of like, what do I want to do as a mentee? Because I'm a mentor most of the time. So it's like I'm really comfortable going into that mentee role. And it was a case of I really need help to get over my fears and become visible to make the difference that I would like to make. I'm very, yes, I'm in my own circles. People know my opinions, know what my drive is, and things like that. But beyond the Tees Valley, I'm just not out there because I put very little on social media. I'm just not present. I'm just not present on an online space in any way personally. So the idea was I need to make myself visible. So started working with Dawn, and then obviously when I won the award, I thought I'd come back, and within a couple of days, I thought I really need to make some difference with this. And this is an opportunity that I would be foolish to stay in the background, but which is why I'm doing this, completely pushing myself out of the comfort zone, doing something like this. So I thought, right, okay, I will do my usual trick, because I wrote my own strategy and put it on the shelf, and I thought I won't do that unless I'm accountable to somebody. Project Visibility.
Amazing.
So with that, I am going to bring a few ladies, just a handful. This is nothing big, because I want it to be an intimate, small group of women who feel exactly like me, who are frightened of doing things like this, who it takes 2 to 3 hours to write a LinkedIn post, which is crackers. Just to be an equal in that group and take them on a journey with me, but me with them as well. So I'm accountable to them and them to me.
That is amazing. Oh, do you know what? And for those of you who might not be aware, if you are a finalist in the awards, and so this year we had 1,600 nominations, and we were down to, I think, 200 and something like 200 or so sort of in our shortlist and game changers. And we offer everyone part of a 12-week mentoring program. And the whole idea is it's I said earlier, we're not just about one night. It is about that wider. How can we wider support? And it is interesting. We often get, many of our finalists who are senior, accomplished, as you are in business, and so have been used to being the mentor. What have you learned most about being a mentee? Is it part of that accountability piece?
Oh yeah, and it's asking for help as well, isn't it? It's like it's taking it the other way, and we all can't know everything. At any stage of life or career. So I've had a number of virtual meetings with Dawn, and Dawn, she said, I don't know what you need me for, I don't know what and I'm going through, this is my thought process, but she's really added different angles to it for me. What about this? Have you thought about this? And the things that my thought process just didn't. So it's nice to have somebody else walking by your side, really. That's what she's doing. She's walking the walk with me.
Do you know what? And I love it when I hear these stories. I absolutely love it. And Dawn, big high five out to Dawn, one of our amazing mentors who are up in Sellafield. And again, might not have come across Dawn. She's up in Whitehaven,
Met.
So for me, that's always one of the I always think it's one of the secrets that we can offer is we can try and, sort of create those relationships. And it is only 12 weeks, only 3 meetings, but often they will go off in other directions. So I love the fact of what the awards and the whole kind of process has kind of sparked with this. And I'm really excited to hear what happens with that first group. Please keep us connected on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What advice would you give? You're someone who, if you think of, when was it? Let me go back to 21. I think you were first sort of nominated, shortlisted. And what advice would you give to someone out there who thinks, oh, well, I'm not going to win, so I'm not bothered, or I don't want the spotlight, it's not me, it's just one night?
I think just be part of it. You just need to be part of it. Value who's the nomination, most importantly, because that's worth more than anything else. So you've actually got one of your peers putting you forward, and that's that recognition. The route really, but go with it. You've got to go with it. You might win eventually. Maybe that's the way to go. But even just chatting to Emma about your brochure, I go through that brochure and I connect to people. In one of the other things that I love that you do is the breakout rooms with your category, because you were actually, which I find is quite clever, because you're putting like-minded people together in the same virtual room, and I've connected to people that, and then you've got the share of best practice, because it's right across the region. These are people would never have met, but were doing similar things in different areas. So there's so much more value in different areas.
Oh, it's so great for me to learn that I'm doing that. Sometimes you think, are we doing the right thing? Are we over-engineering this? Are we doing too much? And so it's amazing that you are benefiting from this. And I think Empowerment Champion, that's the first year we've done that award this year. That's a new category for us this year. So I'm absolutely delighted. I'm delighted you've benefited from that. I'm delighted you've built your wider networking. A massive high five to Dawn Watson. High five to Dawn. To you, Anne, for being such an amazing supporter, for you for coming out of your comfort zone, for you for leaning into it, creating more spaces, more seats at tables, more opportunities, more trees, more nature, more healthy. You're the queen. And thank you so much for joining us. You are absolutely amazing. And I look forward to kind of watching your adventures as you go, because it's just a joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a review or follow us on socials. We are PoWEr_net on Insta, TikTok and Twitter. Or we are PoWEr on LinkedIn, Facebook. And we are _PoWEr on YouTube.